One more. We're in for a bad one, folks. That's right, folks. We're going old school. Fantastic Four for the GameCube is just abysmal. And I mean straight up. Grade A, 100% abysmal. So, I do not like this game so much that, let's put it like this. I'm recording this live because I have attempted to make a script for this game multiple times. I want to say around 7 times. I only got through one paragraph before I lost my mind. So, let's break this down and find out exactly why Fantastic Four... And let's find out why Fantastic Four for the GameCube really did make me lose my mind and drove me to drink. First things first is that we do have to acknowledge the fact that this is a movie tie-in game. Now, a neat thing is, they actually said that the story of the game was based off of several drafts of the actual movie, which did include several villains at one point. But before the final villain was decided to be Dr. Doom, they had several other villains in mind. Now, just to get this out of the way, some props I do have to give the game is that this game has a lot of unlockables that you can either purchase through in-game currency, or you do find a handful along the way. And another neat cool fact is that the voices of the characters are done by the actors from the movie. Michael Chiklis, Jessica Alba, you know, Captain America, they're all here. As well as some other veterans that are thrown in there as well. But as we talk about the unlockables, the interviews, some of the comic covers, that's basically where the positives kind of end. In all honesty, Fantastic Four was basically a prototype of the great X-Men Legends series. Because there are several points in the whole game where you can switch between the Fantastic Four and a X-Men Legends type of game, where you're either beating them up or trying to project them or use combo attacks. Now mind you, the idea of the game is there. It has potential, but the execution is where it lacks. You can definitely tell this was a cash grab. The storyline was being worked on off of several rewrites of the script, which meant they only had to really work on was the character models. But even then, the hit detection, the camera, the platforming, all of it suffered because of the production hell that the movie went through. Now I myself I really do honestly try to be defender of these tie-in movie games or tie-in TV show games, because the good ones are out there. South Park, Alien Isolation, Transformers War for Cybertron, Transformers Fall of Cybertron. All these are movie or television tie-in games that actually are good. And I mean damn good. Alien Isolation has to be one of the scariest and most tense-filled games I've ever played in my life, with an AI that is super unpredictable and learns your movements, which means you just can't play the game outright the same way more than once. And a neat little fact, there is a secret achievement in there for letting the alien kill you for over 1,000 times. But that just shows you the potential if fans get together to make an awesome video game, or the creators themselves get involved. But when it comes to this video game in general, first off, listen to this. You heard that right. That's the same music file. The same 10 to 15 seconds looping over and over and over and over again. So mind you, that's playing behind your ear. Now let's go ahead and talk about the actual physics of this game. Now mind you, you think it's a beat 'em up, so you think that the physics would be nice and fine-tuned. Nope! It is nowhere near fine-tuned whatsoever. When it comes to the physics, your hitboxes are super tiny, super big, and your grappling actions are pretty much around the same thing. Oh wait, you have projectiles as 2 characters. Let's talk about those projectiles, which only work half the time if you're not locked on. The locking on feature only works half the time. Now I know some people are instantly going to say that, well, you don't have all your characters fully upgraded. Yes, that is true. The characters in this game do have unlockable features. But when I'm referring back to Rise of Guardians on the Wii U, and I'd rather play that to compare to this, something's wrong with you. Something is severely, very wrong with you. Now, let's talk about the main factor about this game. Now, the hit detection was a big clue, but let's talk about the platforming. The mandatory platforming. Mandatory platforming. It would be fine if I can control the camera. The camera wants to act like I have it on a GoPro stick when I'm trying to hold it behind my head. In the worst way, as in the camera's facing the opposite direction, and I have no idea where the camera is framed. Because look at this one part. I have to take little Jessica Alba's character model, and I have to bounce between platforms. That'd be one thing, but no! These platforms actually sink just slightly as soon as you get on them, triggering a saw to make you bounce back off them into a pit of several spiders. And that's not all either. Now, if you don't react fast enough, you accidentally trigger spikes coming out of the floor. What TV I tried it on? This game has an input lag. So you're telling me that with a game with an input lag, it's supposed to have platforming in it. Sometimes precise platforming, not as in like very tiny platforms, but timed. Because mind you, those saws, the second you jump onto those platforms, it triggers a 5-second countdown before that saw kicks in and bumps you off the platform. In Chapter 4, out of 10 mind you, there's only 10 chapters. So, and howlongtobeatit.com says that to beat this game, if you know what you're doing and you know what exploits to use, you can beat this game around 3 to 4 hours, and that is true. Some missions really only take 2 to 3 minutes to complete, and that does include going from point A to point B, maybe not even fighting enemies along the way. There are a lot of times where it says, follow this person, and a lot of minions will just come out of nowhere to try to stop you, but you can run past them. You can literally just run past them and keep on going. They'll completely ignore you after a certain point. So, what's the use? So in the second chapter, when you have to go chase Ben, you literally only have to fight maybe a handful of people. The ones that are shooting at you and actually can stun loop you. Oh yeah, that's the thing in this game. You can get stun looped as well. Doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't it? Or snipers or boss fights. The boss fights in this are laughable. They're easy. They're on a repeat. I mean, the first boss you face with all 4 of the characters is literally just, hey look, it's her turn. Hey look, it's Human Torch's turn. Hey look, it's the Thing's turn. Hey look, it's Mr. Fantastic's turn. Aren't we all just such a great team? It's really a game of taking turns. That's really what it is. And honestly, I don't know what else. The controls are so bad when it comes to the input lag. The platforming is so horrendous, and not to mention, I quit this game. This is the second game in the whole challenge where I had to quit it. Strictly because of the mixture of the platforming, the controls, and somehow the AI. The AI, at one point, was supposed to realize, oh, you're invisible because you're playing the invisible woman. So I have to go into this light and trigger the arrows to start damaging me. But it didn't. It didn't do that. It bugged out both times I tried to face against this boss, and he stayed in this corner, forcing me, as the weakest character out of all 4, to go up to him and start punching him, because her projectiles and big laser beams only can do so much. That's if you don't get stun locked. Again, a very cheap tactic when it comes to these tie-in games is stun locking, and it's really becoming annoying and a very big pet peeve of mine. Oh, we don't want to show a challenge, we just want to show if you can memorize these stun lock. Oh no, wait a minute. Doesn't matter, your hitbox is the exact same things as Ben's. So this little P hits you and completely stuns you for 5 seconds. Oh yeah, and this boss spawns minions too! So you can see how This last level, I was just like, I am done. I am no longer playing this game. I am just dropping it, filming the rest of my thoughts. I maybe got halfway through the game before I'm just like, nope, and I noped out of there super hard. Now, I know this video is a lot more of a raw take than I usually do. I usually try to sit down and construct my thoughts and have a script written out, but honestly, this game had me baffled so hard and just got me so pissed that I didn't want to do anything else. It's one of those few games I've ever played that the second I got done, I had to play something better. It's like having a fresh glass of water after having a horrible, outdated glass of milk that just leaves that bad aftertaste in your mouth. At first you're thinking, oh, it might not be that bad until you take a swig. At first, that first swig is okay. That swig is like, okay, I have that little bit of tang, but I could possibly gulp through the rest of this milk because it's probably expired and I don't want to waste my money. Then you take that second swig and it gets, okay, it's definitely there, but I can probably power through this glass. You take that third and that fourth. That fourth is just hitting you like a ton of bricks and you just want to, nope, you take the whole gallon, you dump it, you take the rest of the glass, you dump it. That's this game in general. I am so glad I bought this without the cover art on it, or else I would be reminisced because it wouldn't have cover art because I would have destroyed it by now. It led me to drink again. In between the actual phone-in performances from the actors, the horrible music, the horrible AI, the horrible platforming, the horrible design of the levels, is there anything good to say about this game? As in, I try to do pros and cons. For every bad there has to be a good. There is some, actually. First and foremost, you do have to give them props for getting the actual actors to come in and reprise their roles as the characters. Okay, that's fine. It's actually kind of hard to do when it comes to these movie tie-in games. They usually have very famous voice actors like Jim Cummings or some other people to mimic the voices to, well, save money. There's one good positive. A second good positive is the actual unlocks themselves. The unlocks themselves actually had interviews from the actual cast. Now, mind you, I can't tell if this is just for the GameCube copy. I want to backtrack and see if it's the same on both the Xbox and the PS2. But these interviews look kind of compressed. I want to say it's just the GameCube version because of the smaller disc, but future me, put an edit in here to see if that is the actual case, please. Hey there, editing me here. And sadly, I have to say that the only interviews that I could find are the actual uncompressed standard definition ones on YouTube that you can actually watch. But I have confirmed that all interviews that were stored on every single disc, the Xbox, GameCube, and PS2 version, were all the same compressed version. And on top of that, there's bonus levels and there's arena challenges. Mind you, I don't really recommend the arena challenges because of the horrible controls, but it's the thought that counts, that they went above and beyond to include additional material into this game past just the initial storyline. And of course, you do have upgrades and you can replay the levels on harder difficulties with the same upgrades. There's a pseudo new game plus. Okay, so there is replayability here. So with all that said, what do I rate this horrible, driving me to drink horrible game? If I gave Tales of Despero the worst Wii game I've ever played at 0.5, Fantastic Four clearly gets a 1 out of 5. Now when it comes to these movie tie-in games, you can definitely tell there's at least some people behind the scenes that are some kind of fan, or it's corporate coming down on them saying, hey, we need to add a little bit more value to these games, at least back then, to try to keep people to play these games over and over again. As a weird recommendation, even though I'm rating it super low, and yes, I am rating this as one of the worst GameCube games I have ever played in my life, I kind of weirdly recommend it. Just as a weird fascination of you picking this up and just see how long it takes for you guys for the controls and all this mutilation can get to you. I want to see how long it drives before it drives you mad. Maybe because I was on a time crunch, maybe because I was grumpy because I was overtime at work, that it drove me insane. And I really couldn't get level enough to write anything about it. Hence the more raw and live style of this review. I thought it'd just be better for me to wing it instead of trying to sit down and actually record my thoughts and script them. Well, I mean, it didn't get me angry as Tales of Despero, but dear lord, I think I felt more exhausted with this game than I thought angry. let's just hope the next few games are a little bit more relaxing. Whew. Well, with that being said, guys, did you play this game when you were a kid, when it first came out in 2005? What do you guys think of it? Did you guys beat it? Or did you guys actually go insane and quit it like I did? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like the video, dislike the video, and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Be sure to subscribe for new episodes, as well as I do try to stream every Sunday and Wednesday, at least once a week. Work permitting, of course. And of course, like I always say, I'm gone, I'm ghost, I'm out of here, and I'm past tense. Now, catch you guys later.